we live?
Hello, we are live. It's Moxie Mondays with Hello Moxie. Nicole, I am so excited. We have the amazing Katrin Zaks on the show with us today.
Oh, hey, welcome.
What a way to kick off our Monday. I look forward to this event every Monday now that we started it. I'm like, Moxie Monday, this is going to be so great.
It's a good time.
Yes, and I'm so jazzed. We got to meet Katrin through the interwebs. Yep.
The DMs are a powerful thing.
The DMs are a powerful thing indeed, for sure. And I think we were just so struck with Katrin because she's just such a fierce, she just speaks, has such a bold voice, and has shared just, there's such a like affinity, I think, between Katrin, the way that you show up online and what you're trying to do and your voice and what we're trying to create here at Hello Moxie. And I think Nicole can speak to that because she found you. She found you. She discovered you.
My DM strategy is just creeping. Just creeping out. Ladies with cool stories. And it says a lot, Katrin, because it's not to discount anyone, but I was looking for alignment in what we're trying to do and what others are trying to do. And I just shared with her backstage that what really struck me with Katrin was she, at the very top of her profile, introduces her kind of her platform, and she makes the bold statement that she is a woman who is staying in tech, really no matter how difficult it may be. And I know I might be butchering it. Katrin, I would love, you're going to put it in your own words, but it just fired me up and I could not reach out to her. And Nicole and I were just celebrating every tiny win. Like, she answered us. Yay. And then it was like, oh my God, she's interested in coming on the pod on Moxie Monday. So, yeah, it's just so much genuine excitement to have you here, Katrin. And I just want to zip it and honestly.
Yeah. So Katrin, tell our listeners, tell us about you, who you are. Give us a little background about you first and foremost. Who is Katrin?
So hello, everyone. First of all, I'm really, really excited to be here today and that you reached out to me. I was very surprised and of course, thought that I'm definitely not going to miss this opportunity.
We're great.
Yeah. So yeah, about my background. So it's kind of a long story, but yeah, I was born and raised in Kazakhstan, and yeah, let's say I actually, after school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I didn't study computer science and didn't get it as a bachelor degree or anything. I studied international relations, and yeah, and after the university, I think I kind of worked in few administrative roles, and then I thought it's actually not what I wanted to do. So I started kind of thinking about what would interest me and everything, and somehow came up with the idea to learn software development. But yeah, I was very afraid actually to switch to make this like huge step for me because it's definitely the different direction. And yeah, but I am very happy that I had the courage to do it. Kind of, I think everyone was telling me you just need to continue studying what you already started. So something connected to international relations. Yeah, but I was like, this idea just came to me all the time. So I was like, maybe I will try.
Yeah.
And I think, fortunately, I'm also a kind of person that prefers to do things and then regret about it rather than not to do things and regret about that. And like,
Amen, sister. Yeah, I feel that.
and like thinking what
Totally.
if to the end of my life.
Oh, I love it. I
Um,
still identify with that.
so yeah, so that's why I eventually kind of decided to try it, and I started some sort of, I would call it night school in Kazakhstan. So I kind of worked during the days and studied at night, like in the evenings, and did homework at the weekends. And yeah, it was very hard.
Yeah.
Because like I was also not good at math and algorithm and everything. And of course, I was also at some point the only woman in the group.
Mhm.
But luckily, I had a very supportive tutor, and he said that I just need to break my brain and not give up. And at some point, it would be easier. So yeah, so I just kind of started noticing that, let's say, when in the beginning it took me 2 weeks to understand the new topic, after some time it was already 4 days, maybe. So it got better and easier. And I was also very excited about it because, like, kind of you write code and then you see the result and when it works. So yeah, I was really interested in this. And after that, I was started thinking what I was going to do after finishing my studies, and I always wanted to try new experiences of living abroad and building my career somewhere else except for Kazakhstan. So I started searching for different programs, and I found one in Israel, and it was kind of program where you continue studying software development, but with the focus on something more specific. So in my case, it was front-end development.
Mhm.
And after that, like they also help you uh, to build your CV, to like prepare you to the interviews and everything. And you also during this program, you also build the real project. You like work in the real team, so you really get already an experience that you can add to your CV. So it really helped me after that to land my first job. It was during COVID times, and I was searching for my first job for 3 months, I think. Yeah, but I did it. It was very, very, very small startup, but still, yeah. And yeah, after 4 years, my partner and we decided also to gather some experience in another country. So I found job in Germany, and now we've been living here in Germany.
Gosh, Nicole, she has so much moxie. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So much moxie.
I mean, I have 1,000 questions,
Yeah.
like bubbling from just that story. But Nicole, I want, on that point, if she has so much moxie, I want you to lead here with
Yeah.
where we
No,
want to go. I mean, it's an incredible story, and just like, you
yeah.
know, so young and so brave to just like, let the world take you where it's going to take you and follow your instincts. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, everything you shared, I have to say, really aligns with the Moxie method. Like, I was hearing your story and I was like, oh my gosh, she is literally living this out. I mean,
Totally.
you're, you were unhappy with where you were at, and so you got curious and you knew that you wanted to change. And so you invested in yourself and you invested in experimentation and play and you invested in this class, and it was scary, and you had a tutor who was there to be your courage companion, who basically reinforced to you that you belonged there. And I think that's so important. Whenever we're doing something new and scary, we need someone with us to
Mm-hmm.
help us, to say, you got this,
Yep.
you can do it. And you had that person that was able to help that when it got really, really difficult for you. And like the fear of having to start something completely new while you were working at another job And people around you were even telling you, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, that is so true. Anytime you're stepping into something new that is in alignment with like what you're meant to do, there's going to be people around you that aren't going to understand it. They're not going to get it. And I heard loud and clear that you were very clear on what it is that you wanted, and you weren't distracted by those outside voices because you knew yourself. So that was really beautiful and powerful.
Yeah.
And now, like, look at you now. You just had, I mean, we haven't gotten to this yet, but I know you just recently gave your first technical talk and have started doing public speaking, which also aligns with the Moxie method, where you're starting to speak up and use your voice. So I think that's just like such an incredible journey. You know what else is very interesting, Katrin, is I've interviewed quite a few women in tech, and most of them did not study software engineering in college, of the people that I interviewed. A lot of them had a very similar trajectory to you, where they studied something else in undergrad, they had another job, and they had this moment where, you know, whether it was a recession, for example, or they were unhappy with where they were at, something in them just screamed at them that they needed to make a change and that they wanted to move in this other direction. And so I think it's very fascinating that for a lot of women, they make that pivot after they've already started their careers, and such bravery to be able to make a pivot like that. So I just commend you for being able to make that bold, brave choice. And I love a good pivot. Man, pivots are the best.
Yes.
So I'm curious, you know, what was it like when you first, you mentioned that you were the only woman or one of the only women in your class. What did you do? So when you were in the class and you were the only woman, did you struggle with imposter syndrome?
I think I was too young for that. At
Nice.
that point,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so focused, and I don't know. I never thought about it actually. I think it came late.
Wow, that is so
Interesting. Why did it come later? What happened later?
yeah.
I don't know, to be honest, but yeah, after, I don't know, at some point I just started noticing that I have this little voice in my head that was like louder and louder, telling me that you don't have enough skills, you don't have enough knowledge and everything. I think, I don't know, maybe because in the beginning I was very, very focused on getting this degree and moving to another country. And that's why I kind of maybe didn't really have time to think about it. That like, you just need to do it, that's it. And maybe when I already kind of settled a little bit, so yeah, I was like, I started thinking, like also about, let's say, social media and such things. I don't know. I think right now that I could have started earlier to write posts, to write articles, to write blog or anything. But at that point, I was always thinking like, no, you are not ready yet. You don't know enough. You need like 5 years experience, 5 years of experience, for example. After that, I don't know, you should become, I don't know, full stack developer or something like this. So every time it was like, you should wait, you should wait, you should wait. Yeah. And eventually I think it just consumes you, and kind of things don't get better, let's say.
That's a really good observation, that you noticed it consumed you and that things weren't getting better. So what did you shift?
I think this year, I don't know, just something clicked in my head that it shouldn't continue in such way. And I understood that I need to change my strategy, which is my old friend imposter syndrome. Because like before that, I thought I need to get rid of it all this time. But eventually, I think we need to learn how to coexist with it. and
Mm,
like kind of to find,
yes.
like in my case it was to find something that would scream even louder to me that no, I have skills, I have knowledge, I have like something to share. Yeah.
I love that you said that you realized you weren't going to get rid of it. I will say that's been my own experience, that I like to get curious about the inner critic and make friends with them. So if I hear that voice a lot that tells me, "Oh, you're not good enough, you're not qualified enough, you're not smart enough." I hear that voice quite a lot. "You're not smart enough," or "You don't have the skills to do this." And whenever I hear that voice, I just get curious about it. And I'll just like literally sit and ask questions and say, try to
Yeah.
understand what it needs, and recognizing that critic is just trying to keep me safe, right? Like they're just trying to keep
Yeah.
you from, being humiliated or all of those things. And when the more that I find that you have compassion for that part and realize like they're just there to help you and you just hear them, it naturally makes them just like quiet themselves. And it also helps you, like, you bolster your own confidence to be able to say, I can do this. I'm going to do this anyway, kind of a situation. So anyway, that's been my experience.
I'd love to
Exactly.
know what. So on the point of being curious about it, I found one thing for me was to notice the triggers. As much as we can understand what triggers the imposter syndrome in those moments, because sometimes they are so small. It is like a certain look that someone gives you, and that someone after unpacking it, maybe you've put them at a higher, caliber than you. And it's like, at least that's one example in my experience, was that I realized I put so much weight in certain people's opinions that if I said something and didn't get the exact reaction from them, that would trigger that imposter syndrome. So are there examples like that for you? I know because you learned how to coexist with it, right? Which I would think you were able to kind of also um, be calm and with those triggers. So were those triggers clear to you? Do they still exist? I'm sure.
I am not sure that I kind of recognize those triggers. I might think that maybe for me, like a huge change was that, for example, I worked in Israel in 4 different companies, and everywhere we had kind of team lead or someone who could like encourage you, help you see your potential, and even like sometimes they help me to get a raise and such things. And it was like always someone who you could learn from and everything. But right now we kind of have flat hierarchy, and that was maybe a little bit hard for me because I was like always looking for this I don't know, acceptance, or that someone was going to tell me that no, you are doing a great job.
Yeah.
And it was very unusual for me that there is no such person.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's like the validation. You were used to
Yeah,
having
exactly.
validation to confirm to you that you were doing okay. And without having that external validation, that's when it kind of triggered you to start being critical because you weren't getting it from the outside.
Mm.
Yeah, interesting. Huh.
And yeah, I think just after some time, maybe I just got used to it and I understood that I am my personal validator.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Drop the mic. I am my personal validator. Yes.
Yep.
That is so true. That's the stillness phase of the Moxie method, which is all about self-trust and realizing like you are your own personal validator. You don't need to get it from the outside. You can give it to yourself. Oh,
Girl, we're
I
gonna be putting that on
personal
t-shirts.
validator. Yes.
That's going on a t-shirt, a bumper sticker,
Yes, that's so
a
great.
tattoo. I mean, that's
Yeah.
so good. So good.
Well, I would love to know, what do you love about being a woman in tech?
It's a tough one. um, I don't know. I think that maybe because it's different, and actually, I think we have um, tech now is changing, and like before that, it was always we had in our heads that it was always that stereotype that if someone works in tech, it should be like some nerdy guy in the hoodie, sitting and coding 24/7 in his
Yep.
basement. But now I think it's like becoming being more also about soft skills. And I think that's where we women actually shine
Yes.
because like we have our intuition, we have emotional intelligence, we are, I think, like we are more patient, and that's what makes us wonderful candidates for technical roles, for example, because like I think companies more and more understand that they need like people that are easygoing, open-minded, that they can work in teams. And yeah, I think like also the intuition, for example, I think it's what can help us to understand what, for example, our clients really need, because they sometimes think that they need some features, but eventually like actually their pain can be in something else.
Yep.
And yeah, that's how you can like find out about it and also kind of show him that actually maybe you need this instead of something else.
That's so important what you just mentioned, because the pace of change is happening so rapidly now that the need for strong soft skills is only going to increase, because there's going to be so much change. And you know how people are when change happens. Everyone gets
Yeah,
all like, what's happening? I'm
They can't think
scared.
clearly.
All
Yeah.
the emotions come out. And so like to be
We
able to
need
have a way,
calm.
yeah, a way to
Yes.
navigate that and provide support and like get people to, you know, manage
I
their
also
emotions.
I love, 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 because I like Nicole. Um, we ran agencies, digital marketing agencies. And your point to the customer doesn't always truly understand their pain point. And if we take what they're telling us just as absolute truth, then it can cost the company so much money and going back to try to fix that, because in my experience the customer still expects their pain to be solved even if they didn't communicate it clearly. And so those
yeah,
soft skills are everything, because you're willing, I think women are more willing, it's that patience to say, wait, I'm gonna really, like, maybe it seems like I'm overthinking this or over asking these questions to really understand this, but I think it's like intuitively we know why we're doing it. And I think when I was across men in those situations, it's like you really had to lean into bravery to just be like, no, I'm gonna just continue digging in this conversation. And I find that women do that so much easier. And that is a soft skill. That's what you're talking about. It's still a qualifying sales conversation, but it takes soft skills to dig deeper and deep to understand the root of pain. So
I think also we are better to work with difficult clients too,
yeah,
because we like, I don't know, I think for us it's just okay, like it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting too, because I almost think women are more open to a range of emotions, right? So in the workplace, when there's a difficult conversation, I think we can um, come to that difficult conversation with more calmness then our fist up, right?
Yeah. It's also like that eventually, again, it's clients' needs, but not like that you did, for example, bad job or something.
Yeah.
You're like kind of paid for it. It doesn't matter if you need to change something like few times, for example, because client wants it. So I think we also kind of have maybe less problems with ego. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd put my money on that. Sorry, guys.
Very true. Yeah. What have you noticed most, Katrin, about like, because you've worked in the tech industry and then before this, you worked in a completely different industry. So, what are the challenges that you've experienced unique to tech and being kind of a minority woman that, you know, I know we've talked about some of them, but I'd love for you to talk a little bit more deeply about like, what challenges are you facing now that are different, that are unique for you? And how are you navigating them?
So, yeah, I think the hugest challenge maybe for all of us, like for women, is that we are still kind of underrepresented in this field. And it's like crazy. But for example, when I participated in that conference, and after that, I talked to one wonderful woman that she works at the university, and she had also technical degree and everything. And we shared like similar challenges, similar problems that we face and everything. And the it was shocking that we had like kind of 20 years gap between us, age gap. So it kind of seems that time passes by, but the problems still stay. And it's so sad. And I think that's why it is important like to develop our own community and to share our stories so that people get used that we are in these areas too and get used to work with us. And like I don't know, there are really crazy stuff like I am also kind of shocked when I, for example, see surveys or something, even here in Germany, and women are there like underpaid, still underpaid on the same positions, such things. So I don't know.
Seems so antiquated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is just systemic, right? Like there's still, I think, a lack of awareness. Sometimes the bias is so systemic that people don't even recognize, you know, like men, for example, may not even like, it's not like they're intentionally trying to be biased. You know what I mean? It's just like it's systemic and part of
Yeah, exactly.
the organizations and the society runs. And so the only way to uproot that is to talk about it and to bring awareness to it so that people can recognize it for when when the bias is happening. So they can see it. You have to see it first if you want to change it.
Exactly. I think we should stop trying to be invisible and become invincible.
Yes. Tell me some examples about like how you've done that. How have you chosen not to be invisible?
So I think first of all, I think I really, because of my imposter syndrome, I wasted many years of building my position as woman in tech. Also on social media, I kind of for many years also deleted my Instagram because I don't know, really,
Yeah.
this voice, yeah, only kind of didn't help me. That's for sure. And yeah, so and here for my first year here in Germany, I think I was also kind of shy because I had this not only not only imposter syndrome but also immigrant syndrome. It's called when you move to another country and then you are kind of afraid of doing anything or saying or doing something wrong, let's say. And so yeah, kind of shy, and I was also kind of a little bit embarrassed of my language skills and everything. But then, like, first of all, I started to speak up in meetings more, like to say what I think, to ask many questions. And also I returned to social media as
Yay.
before. And I started, like, first of all, I started for myself, like I opened a YouTube channel and I started creating videos. And first of all, it was kind of to get this confidence that I can talk about technical topics too. And also I can explain something that I already know with maybe simple words and real life examples. And if I'm not sure about something, then I can kind of deep dive into it. And after that, for example, like before that, when someone came to me and asked question or something, I was like going to flee. But after that, I'm like, right now, for example, I'm like, okay, I did it already. I can kind of explained it, I don't know, to 10 people on YouTube, then I can do it at my workspace, for example. And yeah, I think it really helped to get some confidence in my knowledge and skills. And I also think we have a right sometimes to kind of take a break. And for example, if someone asks you and you are not sure about it, you can say like, I need 10 minutes, like, I don't know, and I will get back to you, something like this. Yeah. And then at least not to run away, and this person will not think that you don't know anything, for example.
Yeah. Such a great point.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much vulnerability there in saying, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to get back to you.
Yeah.
And I think people connect with people. They trust them when they know they're being honest. Like, you know, it's okay if you don't, and you don't always know the answer right away, but you'll find the answer. And that's what builds trust with people. But you know what's really interesting too is that you've used social media to gain confidence and use your voice.
Yeah.
That's really
I'm so glad you went there, because I was just like,
yeah,
thinking the same.
oh,
Because I think social media often can get this like it's a vanity thing for people. You know, we have this craving to build, build influencer status, and it's all for this narcissistic purpose. But I so see what you're saying here. It's like you used it for as your own space to speak up on your own terms. It's really lovely.
yeah, and like speak up and also give back, because you're creating content to help other people learn and help support them in that way, which is beautiful. I think that's like such a great example of like people who may be thinking that, you know, they don't have anything to offer, are afraid to use your voice, right? Like you have something that you can share that's of value that can help someone else. And so if you kind of like get out of your own head with it and realize like, hey, someone else can benefit from what I'm sharing here. This could help someone else. And me not speaking up is me not helping someone else who needs it, right? Like me not speaking up in the meeting and sharing my opinion could be to the detriment of the client, because this is you may be advocating for them for something in particular. And if you don't speak up for them in that situation, the client loses. So I think the more you can kind of get out of your head with it and realize like the larger meta, bigger picture of the impact that you have. Yeah, is speaking up. It's not about you. It's about who can I help?
Yeah, so for example, also this public speaking experience, I also thought in the beginning, like, okay, who cares? It's just a small event. I don't know, like nothing to share about. And I thought, no, actually, I want to share about it, even though that I don't know, no one is watching. And I shared this kind of after story on my Instagram, how it went, and maybe like some tools on how, like, what helped me to overcome fright and like to prepare myself mentally to speak on the stage and everything. And then one Indian girl wrote to me that she really needed to hear that because she was going to participate in hackathon, and that it really inspired her. And after that, she also shared the hackathon experience with me, that everything went great, and so on. And I don't know, I was reading it and it brought me chills, because like, even if you kind of inspired one another woman, then you did your job.
Yes, it's a domino effect. You know, she's going to
Yeah.
pass that on too. I mean, it's amazing. So I want to know, what is your like vision for where you want to be? What are you, who is your face? You know, if you could design it, because you seem very in tune. I mean, there's no doubt about it that shift you made from international relations to tech, it was just like you knew exactly what you wanted. So I imagine you have a pretty clear vision of where you want to go 5-10 years. What does that Katrin look like? What is she doing?
Actually, not this time.
No. Okay.
This time I'm really kind of, I can't say that I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm like really, really open to experimenting and understanding what I like and where I want to go. Because like, I don't know, there are so many opportunities. I also thought that maybe at some point, at some day, I would love to also find some projects that like, that I would kind of turn into a business or something like this. Like, I have all these ideas, but there are so many, and I don't have like one direction where I kind of right now going. So that's why I'm kind of, for now, I am focusing on building my personal brand, I think, more. And then we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it's breadcrumbs, right? The more you lean into being authentic and developing that personal brand, that's really just unearthing more of you, growing as a person. It breadcrumbs you to the right place. And I love that reminder, because sometimes I can get hung up on this. I want it to look like this, and it can work against us. You know, it can create these expectations and stunt our growth in an authentic way.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned this, Katrin. I just was reading something from researcher Daniel Pink. Okay, so he's a famous researcher here in the States. He does a lot of research on human behavior. And he did research that showed that the most highest performing people, they don't have like a 5-10 year plan that they stick to. They invest in mini
Look
experiments.
at that, girl.
And like you literally just said, I'm
my
just
gosh.
experimenting. So like that's what they basically will invest in, these little experiments. And if they don't work out, they learn, they move to the next experiment, and they just continue to grow from like just these. And I think that this is going to become so much more important, because the pace of change is happening so fast now that it's like literally impossible for us to be able to plan 5-10 years out from now where we're going to be. Like, it's just not realistic. So like having to just, we've talked a lot in this call about that flexibility that women have, like this ability to just kind of like almost adapt and adjust and be patient in the face of change. Like those skills are going to become so much more relevant. So I love that for you. I think you're like so on the money with building your personal brand and just trying these different experiments, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I could just talk to you all night. What do you think, Nicole? Should we just keep going?
You are so wise. I say this so genuinely. Like, I got so much out of this conversation with you, and I cannot identify as a woman in tech. I serve women in tech through this organization. But so much of what drives you, even though you're in tech, is just relevant to all of us. There's just so much wisdom there. And I think it's just like, it's about just knowing yourself and developing yourself into a better person, which is relevant to anyone if you're human, right? So I just have to thank you for just so much wisdom, and just you got it going on, girl. You're pretty badass. So I'm a fangirl, and just
Oh, thank you, guys.
yeah, I'm a fangirl.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show, Katrin. It's been so fantastic. So, how, you know, my final question for you is, and Moxie is a very American word. So we've had guests on the show who are from the Netherlands and other countries, and they're like, "What does this Moxie word mean, Nicole? I don't know what this word means." So, like, when Moxie to me is like being courageous and being determined and having just this like strong force of character, just like this gravitas that you're just going to go for things, and you clearly have that. But what would be like your final advice to other young women in tech who or even, you know, like to help them have the grit and the moxie to kind of stick it out?
I think not to be afraid to be a badass.
Yes.
And maybe even it's okay not to be liked by everyone also, because like I think we always kind of, there are two options, or that people think that you're a nice girl and then they kind of overcome your boundaries, or they think, can I have a word, say a bad word?
Yes.
They think that you're kind of bitchy. But then at least you have your boundaries, and I think that it's better to be the second one, and like to be able to fight for yourself and to fight for what you think is important, and not to be afraid of anything, because also like it never goes away to be afraid of things, but we can just still do it despite of it.
Yes.
Do it
Coexist with it.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, what a moment of, we need to like just take that moment.
Yeah.
in.
I mean, just solid gold.
Well, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming to the show. Anyone who's listening, we're so happy you're here on Moxie Mondays to hear from the amazing. And I'm just like, can't talk anymore. I'm losing my train of thought. The moment has reached me.
Catrin,
but
can
thank
you
so
tell
much.
everyone how to find you online?
Yeah, so I called myself on social media Katrin Techland because I wanted to do some sort of mixing my life in Germany and tech stuff and everything myself. So yeah, it's like on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere. It's Katrin Techland.
I will put it in the comments below for everyone, since I am the one that, you know, stalked her out in the first place. I clearly know how to find you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. This was such a fun conversation.
Thank you for being our first guest. It's been great.
Yes.
So for those of you listening, don't forget to tune in next week. We've got another episode of Moxie Mondays coming your way. So we look forward to it. And I hope you guys all have a Moxie-filled day. And Katrin, Nicole, let's stay on online on here after I end the stream. All right. Bye. Bye.